It's a trap, you walk right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, steal, half of what you make. Taxation is steps, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. That they disguise and pass off as bravery. Well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show or for hyper control.
Who's the fucking dodge to the moon, boy?
And we're back with another episode of Bonesandtubs. We're here with you tonight to give you everything you want to hear and more.
I had a really slick intro earlier and I didn't write it down. I forgot it.
Yeah, it happens.
Something like fantastical. It doesn't matter.
We were gone for a week.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take that
It
sabbatical.
just, it happened. I got sick last week.
Me too.
And when we were going to record, it's just a series of unfortunate events occurred.
Yeah. Illustrated by us.
Like, I got stranded in a faraway place for multiple days in a row, and
yeah,
it was just a bad time.
Right. You weren't even high or on drugs?
No. Sober drunk? As, I can't say a judge because I imagine most judges are actually drunk.
Those fags wear dresses. Get out of here.
So how about
regular
sober?
trannies fest.
Can we change that? Sober as a Mormon.
Yeah. Listen, I'll say this because I heard it on the podcast, King and the Sting. Sober sex is for children. You know what I mean? I have to feel like that translates somehow.
I could see that, yeah. But no, we're here. We're here to give you everything you want to hear more, like I said at the beginning of the show. Today,
none of it's feel good.
To give you a heads up on what we're going to be talking about, in the main subject line, it was brought to us by
El Presidente.
El Presidente, and he told us, and like we said before, if you want to hear us talk about something on the show, send it to us, and more than likely we will do it.
Yeah.
But he wanted us to talk about the Fabian Society.
Once we pull our head out of each other's asses,
Yeah, and we will be getting to that here shortly.
If you want to skip ahead about 10 minutes, we're going to go through some current events, and then we will get into the...
jump ahead about 10. Let's say let's give ourselves nice breathing room. Say 15 minutes.
That's a good breathing room.
Jump 15 minutes ahead, and we should be in the meat of the podcast at that point. But before we got started on that, we had some headlines we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I actually had more yesterday. It sucks when you don't record for a week because I watch these things and I'm like writing shit down. I'm like, fuck, I have to wait. I have too many things already.
Yeah.
Because these stories could obviously be a show in their own. It started out with a Ice Age Farmer video, Ice Age Farmer on YouTube. And I titled it, I don't remember the title that he used, but I called it Biden Ends Beef. 90% reduction in red meat consumption by 2030 for climate plan. Maybe that's his title. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ice Age Farmer on YouTube. It starts out with John Kerry's donkey-looking ass, and he's talking to people on TV, because you can't just have, guests anymore. You got to have COVID space, and everybody's scared to death.
Yeah.
Supposedly. But they're all talking, and he says, getting to net zero carbon emissions will be hard. Really hard. But we also need to completely remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere using giant vacuums, ? So then you go to a news article from the Los Angeles Times titled, Clock's Running Out on Climate Change. California says it's time for giant carbon vacuums, and then they show these big dumbass vacuums that they're running.
Now, are we talking like a Bissell? Not a sponsor.
Well, it looked like just a regular ass, like a series of fans, honestly. Now, I don't know if they're going to use fossil fuel planes to get them up there.
Now, I have seen things before where, this was years ago, they had, these towers, right? And they collected errant carbon in the air and concentrated it into, the cubes of, the dry ice, basically, of carbon emissions.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take they'd make these, cylindrical tubes, and they would, I don't know how they do it, but they'd weight them down or whatever, and then they would just maybe they just jettison them right into the ocean, right? And they would sink into the water, and they would dissolve as they were going down.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
But, well, hear me out. Once it reaches a certain depth and the pressure becomes too great, it doesn't dissolve anymore. And it would just go all the way to the ocean floor and just be like this cylindrical tube of carbon.
Just another thing they can bitch about in 50 years. Like, what are we going to do with all this carbon at the bottom of the ocean?
Right.
We don't know how it got there with your tax money.
And then they're going to be like, we need to allocate funds to this company that removes those tubes.
Yeah, and it's somebody they're related to. Okay, so I moved this into. Did you see that Project Veritas video that got him removed from Twitter?
I don't believe so, no.
So, I forget that motherfucker's name. The guy that runs Project Veritas. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I get it. I don't either. But his newest video, I want to say he was the one that did that one we talked about a long time ago, where he had the hidden video from Planned Parenthood interviews where they were selling baby parts.
Yeah.
And well, this one was the similar type. They had Charlie Chester, the technical director of CNN, he was on Tinder dates, and his Tinder dates were sexy women, and the sexy women were actually Project Veritas.
Classic honey trap.
Yeah. And he just went right ahead and told him, like, he disclosed all of his sexy hidden secrets to the fuckable Tinder dates. And he said they're only in the business of fear porn because fear sells. And then he goes on to explain how they use propaganda and how during the last couple of years they only did anything to hide anything Biden had done to make him look sleepy, dumb, or old. Yeah. And then try and fuck Trump at any cost, even making stories up. He said that they would start shying away in the coming months from the words climate change and change it to climate emergency, which you're already starting to see, not only on CNN but everywhere, because they're all the same.
Yeah.
And then CNN had Project Veritas removed. They're suing them, which is awesome. Project Veritas is suing CNN.
Nice.
Yeah, they made a bunch of TikTok videos like, oh, really? Is this what we did? And then they showed examples of how they didn't do that and basically said, we're coming for you. Let's see. So we've got Biden beef plan. Moving into carbon vacuums. CNN pretty much admitting that we're going into a climate emergency for fear porn. And then here we have Daily Mail reports how Biden's climate plan could limit you to just one burger a month, costing $3,500 a year per person in taxes, force you to spend $55,000 on an electric car, and crush more jobs. Turning the page like Alex Jones. Refitting the home with electrical heat pumps, so they'll come into your house if you have a wood-burning stove or natural gas, force you to put in a electrical heat pump, which again, electrical cars, electrical heat, all these things are fueled by coal.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like,
there's no goddamn alternative.
No.
That creates the abundance of electricity that has. I'm not saying, though there is alternatives, but they don't want to touch that either.
I mean, we talked about that in our 1800s episode. Like, we could have free energy right now.
Yeah.
Look it up. What's neat, though, is that I think, at least what stuck out more to me, is that all the things they're doing, they're putting you more in a dependent state on the grid. The failing grid that we're all worried about, that's overtaxed in the first place.
Yeah.
It has rolling brownouts in the summer when everyone's using their air conditioner.
So what happens when we're on electric pumps in the wintertime and we have blackouts? We just go to freeze to death?
Yeah. These stories are going to go great into our main topic. Socialism. Feel-good story. I did write this because in the middle I found it. And I don't remember if I showed you or not or if you've already seen it. Back in the 90s, there was a video of Bill Gates getting out of his car, going to speak to some city planners. Back before all the
yeah,
and all that shit, and somebody smacked him in the face with a cream pie.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
And he
before.
cowered like a little bitch.
Yeah,
and then somebody hit him with another one. And I just wish they used the 38 instead of clapping him. They pulled that thing. You know what I mean? Shout out to him, by the way. You see him going through his little divorce.
Yeah.
I can't decide if it's because his butthole's not tight enough for his wife to fuck him with her dick, or maybe she got tired of that Microsoft penis.
It's possible.
My biggest worry is, like, I already know they don't have a prenup, according to Daily Mail, because that's where I get all my news. But I just want to know who's going to get their share of adrenochrome. You think she'll get it, or you think he'll get it? One of them's going to start looking like shit here in the next couple months.
Color, like, hear me out on this.
I'm listening.
Okay. What if, like, all the crazy shit, he's just kept out of it for years with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if she just has a severe case of DBS, right? Dumb bitch syndrome.
Okay, yeah, good.
And, like, all the shit that they've done over the years, like with the Gates Foundation and stuff, she was just under the impression they really were trying to help people, right?
Yeah.
And what if, like, she somehow, like, caught wind that, like, all the shit that gets talked about him was true? Like, let's say, like, the fucking Epstein Island shit.
Right. That's what started it all.
And then she realized that, like, the vaccination. You know what? I'm going to call it vaccination.
That's a better word. I bet the
YouTube algorithm might not pick that one up.
Yeah, I won't pick that one up.
But the vaccination program in, like, Africa and stuff like that they've done was actually...
you mean we did this to kill colored kids?
Yeah, population control. And then when she finally realized, like I said, because, listen, I've known some people out there with some severe cases of DBS.
Yeah.
It's real.
We know some currently.
All the time.
Yeah. 100%.
And what if she just finally figured it out, and that's why she's leaving him?
She stumbled into the drawer and found the adrenochrome, and then she started doing some late night Googling, and here we are.
Like, and he's like, listen, you can leave, but if you fucking open your mouth about any of this,
I'll fucking kill you.
You know what? I'm going to kill you I'm going to give you brain cancer.
Yeah.
Because I have that kind of power.
You remember that shot we took on our anniversary?
I'm going to activate some shit.
Yeah.
And in your head, you're just going to fucking die in like 3 months.
Man. I'm surprised it lasted this long. You know that Microsoft cock wasn't doing the right work. Anyway. The next story, and this one, it made me very upset.
Okay.
I stopped doing notes for 2.5 days because it made me so upset. So, I was watching a Max Egan video on the Crow House over on BitChute.com. Check out the Crow House. That's the only platform other than LBRY that I think he's on now. Everybody else has pulled him off.
Mm-hmm.
Titled, The New Normal is Medical Experiments on Children.
Nice.
Yeah. He starts out by showing an article titled Moderna initiates Kid Cove studies, first to dose children with COVID-19 vaccine. While thousands of parents are signing their children up for this shit, we have a family member of a 12-year-old girl named Maddie posting this post. Quote, "This is from a few weeks ago when she started having issues, and she is now back in the hospital. My cousin is in a trial for the vax, which from what I've seen is accepting children ages 6 months to 12 years. Her parents signed her up for this, and that's how she got it. The post reads, "Please pray for Maddie. She has been having a long list of neurological and gastrointestinal issues from rare," and I use that in air quotes, because how rare do these motherfuckers have to be? They keep happening more and more. They've already had it happen to thousands of people.
Yeah.
And this is all fresh out the gates. A, air quotes, rare adverse reaction she had to the second dose from the COVID vaccine trial she is in right now. And she is in the hospital again because of a bowel obstruction that was cleared, and also being unable to swallow liquids or solids. She hasn't been able to eat or drink without throwing up for over a week. Tomorrow, she has an upper GI scheduled that she will have to swallow 6 ounces, which at this point seems impossible. We need this for her doctors to see what the muscles are doing and how they are reacting to stimulus. If she isn't able to eat soon, she will be placed on an NG tube, and she did not do well with that earlier this week. I believe in prayer. Please pray that she is able to swallow liquids tomorrow so that her body can get the nutrients she needs and that her doctors can begin to figure out why her body is reacting this way. On top of this, she has extreme pain in her back, neck, head, and abdomen, along with numbness in all of her extremities. She has an MRI of her head and spine scheduled for the 16th of March, so this is an older post. Please pray for her to heal so that she can be the energetic 12-year-old who loves hanging out with her friends and learning and playing at school. I can't stand watching her wither away each day."
Well, that's goddamn depressing.
Yeah. Well, the last I could find, she had somewhat recovered. But these motherfuckers are literally signing their kids up to get tested with this bullshit. They're getting money for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just watched the most recent, as of yesterday, Max Egan videos, and he laid out a really deep fucking narrative.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, if all the people who've taken this shot aren't going to die in the next 3 months, they'll be dead within the next 3 to 5 years. He's like, and look, they're killing all the children off that are old enough to remember anything. He's like, what they'll have left are children who don't remember anything other than wearing the mask and following authority. Then I watched a video from Ireland, one of those church busts that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Cops come in and throw a church out because they were having an assembly, and that violated the country's laws of assembly.
Mm-hmm.
So some dude was like, holds his phone up and records it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they found him on a Friday. The cops busted into his house, stole his kids while he was at work, and then took them into care, in quotes, government care.
Mm-hmm.
And then they arrested him. And they took him to a mental health facility because he was too vocal. And they said that he was mentally unwell, he was a danger to his children, a danger to himself. So he couldn't see a doctor or a judge Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, because Monday was a holiday over there. And his kids were just in government care that entire time. Because he was too vocal.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Too vocal.
Yeah.
It's okay, everybody. Everything's going to be okay.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of that demon known as menthol cigarettes finally.
Oh, thank God.
I ain't got to talk to my dad.
Is he doing okay?
I haven't got to talk to him.
Man.
Oh,
You better be stocking up on that like we stock up on Doge.
Yeah, right?
Man.
But they're getting rid of flavored...
What's the reasoning?
Apparently, unbeknownst... Considering,
other than the fact that Biden hates black people.
Considering that cigarettes can't advertise on TV, radio, or anything like that. They can only advertise in the dead medium of magazines.
Yeah.
And I think billboards, maybe? I can't remember the last time I saw a cigarette billboard, to be honest with you.
I remember seeing them in magazines next to like drugs from a pharmaceutical company.
Probably just magazines then, right? But apparently the menthol cigarettes and the flavored like wraps...
Stuff black people use primarily
were geared towards children.
Oh, okay.
So
I like my reasoning better. It makes more sense to me.
All of you out there, right? And I'm not just placing this at the feet of African Americans, but I kind of am, because Biden and Kamala Harris definitely campaigned on decriminalizing marijuana, right? Which would have had a direct impact upon the African American community.
If your vice president has a tagline on a hashtag on Instagram called Kamala the Cop, and they're making pictures of her with every black person she ever had arrested, you knew what you had coming.
Well, but you ran on this campaign saying you were going to decriminalize marijuana, which would have impacted African American communities.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have impacted a lot of communities, but specifically, it probly would have impacted African American communities.
From law enforcement perspective,
from law enforcement perspective, now you wouldn't be having
disproportionate arrest.
cause to arrest somebody for some silly shit like having a fucking joint.
Plants.
Yeah.
Good tomatoes, get them.
So, that being said, they ran on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now, about a couple months ago, someone asked Kamala Harris about it, right? And they're like, "Well, we're just too busy right now. We can't." But they're not busy enough to ban menthol cigarettes and fucking flavored blunt wraps and shit like that. Like,
it's a giant joke, man. They play themselves. I mean, they did. They had there was a huge push there toward the end where there were a lot of the African American community coming out and being like, hey, the Democrats are the ones that started the Klan.
yeah.
And like they would give historical examples over and over again about how they're not your party.
Joe Biden was one of the original creators of the 1994 crime bill, which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Which was basically it's the foundation of modern criminal justice and how fucked up it is.
Remember that interview, or it wasn't an interview? It was the debates between the Democratic candidates when Kamala Harris and what's that sexy bitch from Hawaii?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, when Tulsi called her out, she's like, you're responsible for locking up people for marijuana.
Yeah.
Like, forever. And Kamala just laughed her ass off.
Yeah.
Like it was a funny joke.
Yeah.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah. Y'all played yourselves.
Y'all got jokes, don't you, funny man?
I hate to say it. Y'all played yourselves, though. on that one.
Funny man got jokes.
Because
I do what I want.
You thought he was going to do all these things. Now you ain't even going to be able to fucking beef. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Eating a goddamn hamburger. Well,
but you know what it is? This is the fucked up part. Is these motherfuckers are going to do all this shit for us. But guess what? They're still going to get to enjoy fucking 16-ounce ribeyes.
Oh, bro, it's Hunger Games.
Yeah.
They're the capital.
Yeah.
They're going
to get to enjoy all the motherfucking things that...
They're going to have champagne glasses filled with shit to make them throw
now
up.
I'm going to have to fucking go on fucking runs once a quarter to Canada to get some fucking... Get some cools for my dad.
Yeah. You're going to have, what's his name? Hans Landa in your fucking kitchen drinking your milk.
Yeah.
You're hiding beef cows with menthol inside them under your floorboards, aren't you?
They're going to have cops, like, you know how they have those tables where they display all their drugs? It's just going to be cartons of menthols, and there's going to be, like, a couple cows in the background. Like, we got them, guys. We got them.
One more regulation to Utopia.
There's just like fucking, I got it. There's like just big packages of steaks all over the table and like chubs of fucking ground beef and shit like that. Yeah. And they're like, look at this. We got this.
Just like the drugs the cops stole, now they're going to be stealing your meat, taking it home to their families.
Yeah, you're going to go to the grocery store to get some shit and you're going to get pulled over and they'll be like, what do you got in the trunk?
Nothing.
And they're like,
smells like porterhouse.
I smell beef back there.
Is that Black Angus?
They're going to open it up and they'll be like, huh. Then they're going to use their fucking baton to fucking bust out one of your lights. You got a light out. And then they're going to take your steaks. They're like, I'm not going to write you up for this, but I am going to have to confiscate this beef.
Listen,
motherfucker.
Man, you know what's terrifying is if you go back in your memory to some of our older shows, specifically the one we did with Beyond Meat, like, this is all part of a plan.
Yeah.
They have all the alternatives you can use. They have soy beef that bleeds now.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's about money?
No, I think it's about serfdom and fucking control.
But do you also think it's about money? Because obviously, think about it like this: if they're putting their investments in places where they think like,
well, yes, that part about it's money, but they're going to get money on the way to their goal. But think about it: if you fast forward into our topic, one of the tenets of the Fabian Society was vegetarianism.
Speaking of which, let's go ahead and jump into the Fabian Society because whoever we told to jump 15 minutes ahead. We apologize because we ran a little over.
Well, they'll be all right. If you're not here for what we do, then go somewhere else.
Yeah, I hate to say it at this point.
I'm not trying to suck anybody's dick to stay, but if you want to stay, I'll give you a blowjob after the show. You know what I'm saying? No homo.
But the Fabian Society. So,
I just did a brief history of the beginnings. I don't know if you know more about the modern day. It's kind of what I was hoping you would thrive on after my text message.
Yeah.
The Fabian Society, and we just start out here with the most blatant and obvious thing here.
Yeah.
The coat of arms.
Oh, my God.
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a wolf wearing a sheep.
Well, it's not that anymore.
Oh, well, but its foundations.
But its foundations, its coat of arms was a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Once about 1% of the population started paying attention, they probably had to change some shit up.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. They're like, the optics are kind of bad on this.
Well, let me skip ahead here, and I'll tell you. I wrote this quote down for that exact reason. Our boy, George Bernard Shaw. Remember that boy?
Mm-hmm.
His quote with an interview called The Fading Fabians from the Boston Evening Transcript, dated November 27th, 1908. He was quoted as saying, "The Fabians' greatest strength was that no one knew what they were doing." And at that time, they'd operated for roughly 20 years.
Their whole agenda from the very beginning was their socialist organization.
Yeah.
Was to not do basically they came up after Karl Marx, right?
Yeah.
And their idea was, hey, because Karl Marx said, listen, the only way this shit's going to happen is if we have violent revolution, like socialism, communism, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way it's going to happen is if we violently seize the means of production from the capitalist overlords, right? And the Fabians are like, they're like, maybe we don't have to do it like that.
They're like the softer version.
They're like, maybe we can just slowly creep into society and implement our way of life over time and not have a bloody revolution. Because inevitably, bloody revolutions just lead to more bloody revolutions, and it leads to, crazy demagogues and shit like that, like Stalin and things like that, or like over the top dudes who ultimately have nothing to do with the original goals of the revolution in and of itself, but have their own cravings for power.
I learned two things interesting in my research about Karl Marx. One, and this is a question mark, because it's not I don't know this for a fact, but there's some information to speculate that Karl Marx himself wasn't necessarily for violent overthrow. It was some of the people in his cabinet that kind of pushed that. And I don't know. I just thought that was neat to note.
I don't think I don't think he was advocating for violent overthrow. I think he was simply stating that there was no other choice.
Right. Well, but it was stated in some of his...
It was never, peaceful transition to a communist collectivist society, a democratic collectivist society was never going to happen.
Yeah.
Not when you had ruthless oligarchs, nobles, capitalists. I mean, you imagine the time he lived in. I mean, the shit was fucking gross. I mean, it's gross now. It was gross back then, though, too.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I'm not siding with Karl Marx here. I was accused of being left wing the other day by somebody at the factory. And I took that to heart.
There were a couple of times we've argued in the past, where not argued but debated, and I would say, look, you got that flag waving behind you right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm more left leaning you, but I'm not.
You're socially liberal. More, I mean, we're both socially liberal, I guess, but sometimes I just like fucking with you.
But someone accused me of being like a left cuck, and I was like, stop.
Really?
Yeah, I took it to heart, too.
You should.
I was like, whoa.
Slow down here, Chief.
The fuck?
Yeah. This Fabian Society were self-admitted braggers of socialism and infiltrating all government and systems to bring about socialism in society. The endgame of the Fabian Society mirrors that of a message by Henry de Saint-Simons of his idea of New Christianity. He is quoted as saying, "The whole of society ought to strive towards the amelioration of the moral and physical existence of the poorest class. Society ought to organize itself in a way best adapted for attaining this end," in 1825. The whole idea behind New Christianity was to revise and use it to bring about socialism. One of the many variations of the same goal for these multiple societies that I'm going to mention: Fabian Society, New Christianity, and the Fellowship of New Life. The Fabian Society itself is an offshoot of the Fellowship of New Life, started in 1883, ended in 1898, inspired, supposedly. Now, this is one of the things that I wrote down here. Like, I don't know about you. I know you've read some of this. I have only read a little bit, but Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, they claimed that their writings, they were formed for socialist ideas. Now, I don't remember a whole lot of socialist bullshit in there, and I've read more Emerson than I have it Thoreau, but I don't really picture them as socialist.
Well, here's what it is. Like, I think in the grand scheme of things, like, a lot of them, we're not talking about like this age's collectivism is a lot different than I think the older form of collectivism. Yeah. Where like we're talking about
collectivism.
We're talking about a time where like governments more or less served the nobles, right? Like they didn't like, and they let capitalists, they gave them carte blanche to fuck with poor people as much as humanly possible,
right?
Without any like oversight or regulation or anything like that. You're like, you know what these fucking
kind of like what we're moving into again.
Yeah, like these like little fucking, what's great about fucking little 6-7 year old kids? They fit great in in mine shafts.
Yeah, their like hands they fit in machines that we can't fit into.
Exactly. Like we're not of that mindset now. But you imagine a time
we just contract out to China. They do it for us.
I can understand why certain people of that age felt that way because it was a lot different back then.
Right.
And they were seeing this shit play out in real time. Like we don't have like because of like small pushes to, sanity, like, hey, maybe children shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Maybe time spent, being educated is more important, or maybe we should, make working conditions a little safer for these people because unfortunately just being nice to the capitalists and saying, hey, shouldn't make these dudes work like 16-hour days in fucking sweatshop conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And not offer them any kind of like health package or anything like that. Just basically they die on the fucking assembly line.
Move them out.
Yeah. Like even like because you think about, I hate to go on a diatribe, but even like dudes like Henry Ford understood the value of like
the worker
keeping workers healthy, right? And understood like the supply of labor isn't endless.
It's the human equivalent of oiling the machine.
Yeah,
keep it oiled; it'll run for a while.
I would almost go on to say care with a capital C.
Yeah,
for real.
It takes me back to my second Marx observation that I forgot to mention. But did you know that he was not against property ownership?
Who?
Marx.
Yeah, I know.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
He was against the monopolist control of large swaths of property ownership.
Yeah.
But yet you hear all these people in today's collectivism talking about how Marx wasn't about it. It's like, you lazy brain motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm not even a socialist, and I know more than you about your beloved God, your beloved state God.
I think when you're talking about old socialism and new socialism, you have to kind of...
Two different babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
both have shitty diapers.
Well, I feel like at one time, it's all the same baby, but I feel like years of abuse warped that baby into an angsty, shitty fucking Gen Z teenager.
Yeah, savage.
Like, that fucking... is a sadist. You know what I mean? Like, you think about all the fucking shit that those ideologies went through when it went through the ringer with fucking the Soviet Union, what it's going through now with the CCP.
Right.
Like, it's not... that baby done changed.
Well, we figured it out, that we just basically have to outsource the worst parts of socialism, and the American people will take it. Like, we will love to buy our iPhones. And all the lefties, they love their little iPhones, their little trinkets. And those are made by, like, slaves.
Yeah.
They had to put up suicide nets. We talked about that in an old show because people were going on break and killing themselves.
Yeah.
But it's fine as long as you have it outsourced where they can't see it.
Yeah, we don't want to see it.
And especially if it's in a country where people don't look like you, because then you're a racist if you don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once we figured that out, everything got better. The dream, you know?
Well, it's like they talk about... I hate getting off topic. But it's like they talk about, you know, we just talked about a few minutes ago about moving to electric cars and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
they don't seem to understand. Like, you understand that there is labor being exploited by like slave labor in Africa,
actual slaves,
to mine the fucking elements required. I'm not saying that we shouldn't find alternative sources of energy, but at the same time, like, maybe slow the boat down a little bit, because you literally have children fucking working in these rare earth element mines, mining your goddamn lithium for you.
It's easier for them to get into those tight spaces. Okay,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I mean, it's a matter of space,
you know.
But honestly, the energy argument lost me when we proved we could have free energy with Nikola Tesla, Wilhelm Reich. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, roughly
from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then they all died.
Yeah,
poor and destitute, and their shit was burned down. I mean, we're arguing about bullshit.
So the Fabian Society.
Sorry. I just hate these motherfuckers, man.
Oh, trust me, I do too.
I'm going to start this over. The Fabian Society itself is an offshoot of the Fellowship of New Life, 1883 to 1898, inspired by Emerson and Thoreau, supposedly. The Fellowship of the New Life sought the cultivation of a perfect character in each and all through pacifism, vegetarianism, and simple living. The Fabian Society was founded as a political arm of the Fellowship of the New Life on January 4th, 1884, and was inspired by the enthusiasm of its co-founders, Edward Reynolds Pease and Frank Podmore. Now, I heard one of the most disgusting white dad jokes. I'll have to list the podcast that I found out this shit from so that they get their little punk-ass credit, but this guy stopped. He was like, I got to tell you a joke. I thought about this, and it's hard to tell the difference in the socialists, because you might be a few too many peas in the Podmore. You know what I mean? And then he giggled and he was like, I'm gonna stop. Sometimes I just let my lower self get to it. I watched that shit for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Anyway, and they credited the theories from Henry George. A quote from the history of the Fabian Society, written by Pease: "To George belongs the extraordinary merit of recognizing the right way of social salvation. George believed that the majority desired to seek their own well-being, and this could not fail to be also the well-being of the whole. And that didn't strike well with me.
No.
Because the guy that I walk past, who's high on bath salts or fucking tune or whatever it is at the gas station, who's trying to shove a turkey leg in his ass, I'm not sure he and I have the same level of, like, competency. So just like, my neighbors, when they want to smoke meth, they hit that 55-hour energy and they're up cleaning the house with a toothbrush and butt fucking each other without a condom with dirty needles.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't feel like we're on the same playing field.
The idea of well-being might be different from you to them.
Right. Or like the black lady down the street that has like 16 kids and puts her kids in a dog cage when she goes out to the club to try and have her 17th kid.
Yeah.
I just don't think we're the same.
Yeah. Different definitions of well-being.
Yeah. How many times do you put your kids in a dog cage?
Never.
Yeah, me
Not
either.
even as a joke.
No.
I mean, I hate to sound like a nerd there, but
I mean, I'm not trying to shame anybody.
I think little Tubbs did it like one time, and I was like, "Hey, you're funny. Get out of there.
Get out of the cage. You're not a dog." Yeah. We individually do not share the same lifestyles or goals, but fuck it, let's enforce it with the government.
Yeah,
why not? Members of the Fabian Society scurried away into multiple facets of society to spread their thought virus. These areas included democratic endeavors, religious endeavors, utopian socialism endeavors, and scientific socialism. One member, Richard Orridge, said that the socialist movement was a cult. Alex Jones, page turn. Mixing theosophy, arts, crafts, vegetarianism, and simple life. A quote from George Bernard Shaw, which I read earlier. The Fabians' greatest strength was that no one knew what they were doing. And that concludes basically my feel for what I had to do. So hopefully you can give us a more current view. As
they crawled into the 20th century, they got rid of their wolf in sheep's clothing coat of arms because they're like, this is no good. But
shit, they're looking.
I will address anybody out there who's willing to do a search online, but look for their a piece of artwork that was stolen from them at one point in time and then eventually returned to them as a stained glass window. Did you happen to see this?
I might have in the Google search, but it didn't stick out.
Ooh, hold on.
Would it be?
I'll show it to you first.
Would it be, though?
See what you think.
Is it a piece that you would adorn in your sitting room?
No.
Oh, okay.
It is, well, there you go.
I did see this, but I did not look at it. What are we doing here?
It's a stained glass window of three gentlemen of what seems to be higher standing.
Destroying the earth?
No,
pounding it into their new view?
Yeah,
okay.
They're forging the earth, i.e., they have the earth between a pair of tongs on an anvil, and the other one has a hammer.
It's not Johnny Tong, though.
And they are forging it into their own image.
Good.
While the people below them praise their works.
Worship the state.
Yes.
It's beautiful. I did watch a few interviews for the modern day Fabian Society, and it's all gross.
But basically, they did I feel like in the end they've gotten most of their end game goals. Like a lot of their bigger goals have already been completed, especially in the UK where they're out of. Mm-hmm. Universal health care, labor, certain labor laws and things like that.
We're all coming up on a UBI, which I'm sure the tips of their dicks are wet for.
And there's about 7,000 active members right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that more or less like their whole goal was to get these ideas out there, not through violent revolution, but basically by infiltrating all forms of higher society. Mm-hmm. So there's members from, we're talking in the media, collegiate, government,
religious,
celebrities,
dietary,
writers.
Yeah.
We're talking...
I mean, fuck, we just talked about the Biden beef plan. That's right up their alley. Vegetarianism.
Yeah. They're making those moves in silence. I think, that's really their motto.
And they're also, like you said earlier, making money moves.
Yeah, they're making money moves.
In silence.
In silence. They, because I feel like they got most of their goals off, but they are definitely, their tendrils are deeply entrenched into all facets of life in the UK that make decisions.
I mean, even the United States or the West, West as a whole, like we talked about that a long time, or not a long time ago, a decent amount of time ago with Ice Age Farmer again, but how they said that look at all this money that shifted into Beyond Beef or whatever it was, Beyond Meat, that one company.
Yeah.
They had a large outpouring into this company overnight. Like billions and billions of dollars went in this company, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh shit, we got all these like meat farms burning down, and now we're going to impose legislation to...
Well, I think at this point, the reason things are the way they are, and we're dealing with this like big culture war and all that, is tied a lot to this too, because their idea is that in order to change the system, they have to, because unfortunately our tradition and culture is like in the way we live our lives is ingrained together, right? It's weaved together. So the only way to destroy, you have to basically cut it all out from the fucking, nip it in the bud. Basically, you got to pull it out, roots and all. Right? You want to change everything, or you can't just like, you want to implement one thing, it's not going to work. Right? So the only way you could do that is you have to challenge every aspect of the world we live in right now. Right? Down to the very simplest of things. Down to beef consumption or drink, or how milk is racist or anything like that.
Just imagine being one of these college head sleepy brains that you see wearing, if you ever drive through Oxford or another college town, you see them wearing masks in their car when they're by themselves, and you know that they're going to get some hummus and chill.
Hey, listen, man, I like hummus.
I get it, but you also have a healthy diet of meat.
All right. I was going to say, when they said 4 pounds a year, I was like,
fuck out of here.
Man, I'd burn all mine up by like January 7th. I eat a lot of beef.
And you're going to pay $3,500 a year for it in taxes.
Fuck that. Like, for real.
I know actual cattle farmers. We know a hog farmer.
Yeah. They even mentioned pork.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're fucking pissing their pants about it too. They didn't even
fucking crazy.
You know why they didn't mention pork consumption? Because there won't be any pork consumption.
Yeah. They're just going to get rid of it altogether.
They'll just be like, yeah, fuck these pigs.
Listen, man, I don't want to be that guy, but like everybody out there listening, the only way this is going to work is if you let it work.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be the first person.
I'm going to be doing black market meat deals.
Yeah, as I say, yeah, we're going to be black market meat smugglers.
Yeah. We've been doing meat for a long time anyway. You know what I'm talking about? Come on.
I'm going to be standing on the corner, down where I live. I'm going to own that corner.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of The Wire, so
you got to beat on that.
I'm going to have my corner, right? So I'm just going to be the dude in charge. I'm going to have the money man, and then I'm going to have the stash, hidden somewhere.
I like to picture you like Debo on that big ass bicycle, just rolling down the street, like taking people's chains and collecting money.
And someone's going to come up,
What's up, Craig?
I'll be like hollering down the street, yo, I got bacon, I got porterhouses, I got ground beef. What you looking for? Some like squirrely little dude like rolls up like, yeah, I was wondering if I could get a pound of ground beef. That would be $50, dog.
Yeah.
And he goes to hand me money. I'm like, whoa. You hand me money to that dude down there.
Lysol over there.
You hand the money down to that dude down there. He'll get
Lysol, get this money.
And then he'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of shit we're gonna have to be on. Apparently, I'm gonna have to be a fucking meat slinging meat slinging kingpin.
I'll be that big black dude they chucked to death in New York over a cigarette law because I got fucking 18 pounds of beef on me.
They say you had a hot dog on. Yeah, you were selling Lucy hot dogs.
Trying to sell Lucy wieners.
You were selling Lucy wieners.
I was selling Lucy wieners at the gas station.
They choked you to death.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
You know what's funny is that's not a far stretch.
No,
not at all.
Not anymore.
You literally just have to change the subject from cigarettes to meat, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oof. There won't be any memorials for me though, because I'm as white as it comes.
Yeah, lily white.
I mean, I did my genetic background check. I gave them. They already had my blood from birth, so I gave them my spit. Mm-hmm. And there ain't no chocolate in this recipe. Is all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're gonna have to come to. You're gonna have dudes like wearing trench coats, and you like walk up to him, and he's just like opens up his coat, and he's got like meat hooks in his coat, and there's just meat hanging off of him. Like,
yeah.
And then you bring it home, and you got burned because you cook it up, and you start eating it. You're like, wait a minute,
this is Beyond Beef. This is bullshit.
They're like, wait a minute, this is cat. This motherfucker just sold me some cat.
Sold me my own cat. Yeah. Your cat's an asshole.
Like they start doing that, you know, like people talk about stray cats, stray dogs, all that shit.
Yeah.
That shit ain't gonna be a problem no more.
I started reading the Gunslinger series again today.
Yeah.
And it also goes with the threaded. Like, oh, I got hamburgers back here from threaded stock. And everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. And they pay the threaded stock price, but they know that motherfucker's got 4 eyes.
Yeah.
It's not threaded stock.
Yeah.
At some point, we're gonna have to start selling cats, like you said.
The squirrel, cat, bird, dog.
We have a healthy raccoon population that's coming up out of the storm drains. I saw them when I came out earlier. You know, the trash pandas are strong in Preble County.
Listen, we're just gonna have to any meat necessary, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
Just making sure you cook it, get them parasites out of it.
We ought to get Long Dong Tong on the payroll. He always wanted to sell meat for a living. You know what I mean?
Yo, dog, I'm the biggest meat slinger around. He literally means he's the biggest meat slinger around.
Also, want some dick?
You're gonna have to fucking.
He deals normally in Nathan's hot dogs, the longer ones. You know what I'm saying?
The big, like, thick ones.
Satisfying salty boys, if you will. No homo, of course.
Yo, man, I got a beat on some ballparks. Did you win? Like some kid comes home from school and his mom's like, I found these in your underwear drawer.
Oh, God.
And it's just like a bunch of like pieces of like fucking lunch meat in a bag.
Like half a Lunchable.
You hit him under the goddamn lettuce and the crisper. You thought I wasn't going to find it?
Yeah. Whose are these? Half that Lunchable is basically the equivalent of your mom finding a dime bag in your underwear drawer.
Who told you could eat these?
Yeah.
I learned it from watching you.
Exactly. Man, I can't wait to see those Dare commercials come back, but against meat and menthol cigarettes.
I'm surprised. Like, we're probably gonna see those down the road, like PSAs about eating meat and how it's bad for you. You know, like you have those smoking commercials and the drug ones, like, oh, Bones, you're not the same anymore since you started eating bacon.
Just melting into the couch.
And you're just like on the couch, like, ugh.
Higher than giraffe pussy, but all I can eat soy beef. You know, it's fucking silly.
This shit's crazy, man.
I'm just waiting on them to come after my double stuffed Oreos. That's when I'm going to Washington. I'm going lock and load in the U-Haul truck. You know what I mean?
Fuck, it's coming.
Fuckers better leave my Crisco alone. That's all I'm saying.
Only thing we're going to have left is fucking like Quaker Oats and like...
Victory cigarettes, Victory gin. Maybe that's why I switched to gin.
You're getting yourself
I can sense it on the horizon.
You're getting your body used. You're getting your body ready for it.
I'm the only one that's ready to operate in 2024.
But for real though, that I feel like all these things we joke.
That's because if you don't laugh, you cry.
Yeah.
Or you start shooting motherfuckers.
Yeah.
With truth bullets, hypothetically.
Because for real allegedly. Though, like, I mean, we're talking about here in the United States. Like, let's follow the premise of carbon emissions and whatnot, right? Mm. Okay, I saw a TikTok you sent me earlier. I think it was you about basically when we're talking about this whole climate thing and carbon emissions and all that stuff.
Yeah,
there's a giant communist elephant in the room
that we're not talking about.
That for some reason we're going to go ahead and cut our meat consumption down to like nothing.
Giant slanted-eyed red velvet in the room.
That is fucking doing all the business.
Yeah.
And we're just going to let them run rampant?
Well, I mean, that's what they said. That it's literally already a globalist government. They've already figured out a global socialism because they can do these little punk-ass feel-good programs across the world that make no fucking sense and then do all the dirty work over in China.
Like, there was this thing I saw earlier. I watch the Overwatch League sometimes, right? And one of the players, he's from South Korea. Mm. And he made a post about criticizing how China, like anytime, like China doesn't acknowledge Hong Kong or Taiwan as their own separate entities,
sovereign
right?
nations.
Yeah, they don't refer to them as that. And he was criticizing that, and all of course, like with it being an e-sports, like a huge swath of them are from China, and I guess a bunch of them signed a petition saying that they weren't going to play the team that dude played for anymore because of what he said, unless they fire him.
Well, how about we quit watching their punk ass bullshit then? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we just won't, and that's where I'm at. I was like, well, I just won't watch those teams anymore.
We had the same problem. Then they fired one when there was that whole free Hong Kong thing was going on before they released this punk ass nanotech that they call CVID.
Yeah, Blizzard kowtowed to their dams. Good Blizzard kowtowed to the CCP's demands. Same thing with the NBA. Same thing with the fucking. It's an amazing world we live in when people can walk around and cast shade. And don't get me wrong, some of them are casting shade where shade is due. But at the same time, you need to be casting shade in all directions at which the shade.
What about the Chinese genocides?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we didn't hear anything about that.
You're casting all this, but you're still cutting a check from a country that is committing atrocities, and you want to browbeat us and wag a finger in our face about what we're doing, motherfucker. You're getting paid by them.
Yeah,
I ain't getting paid by them. No, but you're gonna judge me?
Fuck out of here.
Go fuck yourself.
You know how I don't pay the CCPs if I cancel my Blizzard subscription and start reading books again.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. I don't need you.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all we can do at this point. To let them know, like, hey, you gotta listen. You can't be fucking right in the middle on this shit.
They can talk shit to us all they want, but literally, if we withdraw our financial support, they have to shut the fuck up.
Can't be acting like the fucking three monkeys. You know, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil.
Yeah, they're just taking check from evil.
Yeah, well, they're getting paid, and then they're gonna fucking judge us.
Right, fuck out of here.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Fuck off with that shit.
These motherfuckers are dumping fucking huge amounts of carbon in the goddamn atmosphere, and you don't even want to talk about them.
You know,
Greta Thunberg won't go near that.
We're watching you.
Like, seriously, if you want to like really think about it for a minute, like that should tell you everything you need to know right there. It has nothing to do with what the cause they're talking about. It has everything to do with whatever narrative they're being told to tell everybody.
Yeah.
Because if they really cared about these things, they would be covering the whole spectrum, not just the ones that they were told to, and they wouldn't be ignoring the CCP. It's that fucking simple.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. There's no apologies coming from that.
No.
Anybody out there that wants to defend Greta Thunberg, she's a fucking shill.
I'm going to say this, and only a handful of people listening to the show, yourself included, will understand where I'm coming from, and that's okay. But I found either the exact clone of Greta Thunberg in Preble County, or it's like the light side, dark side. So Greta Thunberg is the tool used for evil, and then the light version lives in Preble County. Mm-hmm. It's that girl that rides her bike from the apartment to the post office in Gratis. Changed my mind.
You're not going to change my mind because I totally agree with you now that you say it.
I was driving to see
I see her all the time.
I was driving by today and I saw her and I was like, imagine if Greta Thunberg just rode her bike across the back and forth the street all day long. She'd be much happier.
I mean, I hate to give on Greta Thunberg. She's a young girl, but she's being used as a political tool.
Yeah.
Like to garner sympathy.
I'm still going to shit on the tool. I'm not a good person.
That's the thing though. That's being mad at her is like, that's like Ahab being mad at Moby Dick.
I get it.
It's just, not her. Not even that, because that would infer that what's behind her is a force of nature. But it's not a force of nature.
I guess I'm just I'm prone to shitting on any tool they use because they don't have a face. I mean, I talk shit about the faceless entity all the time, government or people that are involved in promoting government.
I'd say a better idea of it is like, say the U.S. military pilots. Bombing brown kids in the Middle East, right?
Right.
You're mad at them, right? Which, I mean, I guess to an extent there's an argument to be had there because they're following orders, right?
Followers, yeah.
But at the same time, they're following orders from overlords, shot callers, right?
They're too dumb to figure it out.
But that's the thing, though. They're too dumb to figure it out,
and I'm mad at them for it.
Who you gonna? But so I get you why you'd be mad at her.
It takes
but
back.
At the same time, it's not really her.
No, but it takes it back to the Mark Passio, the simplicity anarchy argument. Like personal responsibility ends all the evil.
But I'm gonna tell you. Well, this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the episode. DBS is a motherfucker.
I get it, but it's time to fucking shirk the cloth, take it off your eyes, maybe look into the sunlight a little bit, and quit being a fucking pawn.
Yeah. Just gonna be a pawn your whole life?
I mean, just fucking think for yourself. I'm sure a lot of them, I'm not including the Bonesandtubs tribe, obviously, but we all know people out there in our lives that are just ignorantly going along with the narrative, getting themselves shot up with a, fictional bioweapon for a bioweapon.
You know,
that's just one example.
I'm the first to say I'm a staunch conservationist, right? I believe, like, you know, the plastic in our oceans and all that shit needs to be addressed. And I'm also a proponent of finding alternative sources of energy, right?
Do you think that they could use energy from the ocean, from where they dumped in all that radioactive water from Fukushima?
It's possible. I mean, I've always been a proponent of those things to better humanity, but at the same time, not sacrificing efficiency.
I get it. It's
right?
just they never talk about the real things. They only talk about things that are, further clamp down on the common man. It actually has nothing to do with what's going on.
All right, we're going to play, of course, a couple of reports from our man in the field, Ian Fogg.
Probably a lot of wellness checks because I didn't respond to any of them. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Bonesandtubs tribe. Gracious hosts. We are back again. Always am. Like a bad penny, I always turn up. But it's true, these corporate innovation zones runs the planet. Hell, do we think the Rothschilds got where they are? Or any of them that have these, like, almost fictional numbers of what we perceive as wealth, or as what's rammed down our throats to be perceived as wealth. I have some true wealth in my life, that's for sure. As fake as it may or may not be, my wealth comes from my family. The little one I've created, so far away from my own home. And it's hard, taking care of a family in today's world. Why is it so difficult to take care of a family? Why is it so much easier to do any number of immoral and questionable things that will have repercussions that are damning and damaging and negative? Why is it so easy to do those things than it is to take care of a family? As if the deck has been stacked against us. And as an old poker player, I know what a stacked deck looks like. I know what it feels like when you play. Who else is tired of playing?
Preach.
As the Eagle Scout says, be prepared, Bonesandtubs tribe. The ones you meet certainly will. Bye for now. Oh, good evening, Bonesandtubs tribe. Gracious hosts.
I love his driving talks.
I love that noise. Don't you? Hope that came through good. Wellness check. Hope all is well. On the Western Front, as it were. Bonesandtubs tribe, I hope all is well on your front. Bonesandtubs, this question is for you, tribe. I got rhetorical because I'm not sure how you would answer me. But how do you feel about the seeming growth of, to me it looks like, resegregation? Like, as a at least in this country, we seem to be going backwards. It's becoming progressive to have all-race podcasts, all-race production companies. I mean, it's always been there, but now it seems way more prevalent. It's the in thing. It's progressive. And Redbeard reminded me of a point in ancient history. Wind the clock back and look at Rome. Towards the end of their civilization, when they collapsed upon themselves, they too had kind of gone backwards on some of their core values and systems. They started identifying as this species or that gender and this gender. So, maybe the collapse is coming quickly. Certainly taking its time about it, isn't it? Oh. But I was just wondering if anybody else had noticed how ridiculous it is. Because not that long ago, it was progressive to desegregate. And now we're going backwards. To me, it's just a hash mark in that checklist of society is failing, humanity is failing. We can't even come together as humans. That's really depressing when you think about it. How the devil does the most powerful species on this planet, as we understand it, to the best of our knowledge, we can't come together as humans and just try to do better because, we're all stuck on this same ball of rock and water hurling through space that may or may not end at any given second, given that disaster? No, the answer is no, we can't. For name that reason: greed, corruption, general bad luck. I don't know. Greed and corruption are a big one. I mean, that's been systemic throughout mankind's upbringing. And we still can't do it. We are self-saboteurs of our own evolution. And it is a fascinating thing to look back at. You get these brief rays of sunshine, but nope, self-sabotaged by greed and corruption. So, to the small percentage that seem to financially control everything else, congratulations. You have self-sabotaged mankind's evolution or you have guided it, as you would so lovingly refer to it, to further your own end. Because that's progressive. Oh, it's so stupid.
Correct.
We kind of need something to happen to knock us down a little bit. Mankind always comes together in moments of strife. That's why supervillains, that's the argument supervillains give. Lex Luthor and such. But it doesn't happen. Guided self-sabotage to maintain that small percentage that controls the financial system. It's got to be exhausting work. I know there's a lot of hands in the pot, but ultimately, will you get bored? Do you guys want to do something else? I like hiking. Camping. I like being outside. But no. There's greed and corruption. That's what's fun. Doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, one thing I've learned in life, it definitely does not have to make sense to me. Because it definitely do not make sense to me. does not, will not, either by design, bad luck, or flat out stupidity. We get rear-ended out here, and you guys on your phone when it happens, there's gonna be some fuckery that goes on. Stupid ice. Woo! Oh, that good old boy. God damn. That beard was longer than his arm. Definitely longer than something else.
What the fuck?
Bonesandtubs tribe. As always, stay safe. It only gets weirder from here. Three amigos.
I will say this before I move on to the last two, but I do agree, and the Podfather Joe Rogan said it best, that during every societal collapse, there's always the same lack of gender identity, or there's some sort of confusion in that pot as far as that goes. I would say we're definitely on the fucking, last road sign to hell.
In closing to the public service announcement, your friendly neighborhood Eagle Scout says, be prepared, because the ones you meet certainly will be. Three amigos, out. Good morning, Bonesandtubs tribe. Gracious hosts. Wellness check. I hope this message finds you all as well as can be expected as we battle the never-ending nightmare of whatever system we find ourselves, whether it be the moon matrix or totalitarian debacle. At least they've got a storm rolling in. That could be more than one thing, now couldn't it? Well, ready or not, the day begins, the week begins. Another month has begun even. So here we go, ready or not, we're in it. Up to my knees in shit that they keep shoveling. I don't know why they're digging. But why I'm standing next to them while they dig? That's the question. Shouldn't we do something else? I know I do. The morning afters, so always just makes one feel unreal. Oh, that's better. Things always seem a little bit clearer, even when I'm stuck in a fog. Fog of my own creation. As your old friend the Eagle Scout says, be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. The ones you meet certainly will be. Don't bloody stare at me. It's not my fault you're on the bloody phone. What the heck are people doing and they can't do anything but stare at their bloody phone? Is it porn? Well, what is it? Must be some good porn. You're sitting there staring at it like a monkey doing a math problem. Driving a 2,000-pound machine. I don't mean jack shit, do it. Fucking dumb yes. And that's pretty much the premise for the week and the month, isn't it? Get ready. It's gonna get weird. Stay safe, Bonesandtubs tribe.
So that's that. I will say, may the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
We are not socialists here at the Bonesandtubs podcast.
No.
So we don't require a government agency to bring you our money.
Yeah.
But if you want to give us your money from charity through the act of capitalism, there's a book for sale on Amazon titled The King's Fire, Prophecy and Flame by S. James Imhoff. Check it out. Mm-hmm. You can buy a hard copy, get a digital copy with it. Just buy a digital copy, or, when you get that hard copy, you hit me up and I'll give you his address. And we can come beat him just like dead presidents in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Make him write more.
So
we're also on patreon.com/Bonesandtubs, Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal.
As I say, I hope you guys took our advice, probably, goddamn, a year ago, probably.
Talking about that Doge boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bought into that Doge.
It's to the moon, boy.
I know I have.
Yeah.
And, if you guys happen to make some money off that Doge, if you could, let Bonesandtubs wet our beaks a little bit on it, giving you that good advice.
We're here for you.
Yeah,
you guys are literally
mad at you.
You're keeping the lights on here.
Because I'm going to tell you now, if it goes proverbially to the moon, we'll probably do the show a lot more.
Yeah.
In and of itself, because I have a pretty good investment in it right now, and we wouldn't have to fucking work jobs anymore, normal jobs anyways.
We literally just do this all the time. With all the technologies. And if you're worried about us using the money for gold pants, don't worry about that, because I'd much rather wear no pants. If I didn't have a job, I would just walk around with no pants all the time.
Yeah, because that's where I'm at right now.
Ja, så ska jag från den inside need earth, right?
Yeah.
Scratch it out or leave it in there.
You want to scratch that out.
That
you can reverse it. There's ways to get a hold of us, just like our man in the field does, Ian Fogg.
Because I almost die. Hit me up on Instagram, or either of us. Give you my phone number. We'll go to voice messages.
If you have a show,
Instagram.com/Bonesandtubs.
If you have a show idea,
you
hit us in the DMs on Instagram.
Yeah, right? I prefer any communication meant to be directly back and forth.
You like to give long form?
Instagram.com/Bonesandtubs.
You like to give long form emails? We'll hit you up on there too.
Bonesandtubs@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank you all for listening. Before we go, I'd like to thank JMY5.
Yeah, JMY5, our artist boy, he just got with me. We're going to get caught up on these YouTube shows. Check him out, JMY5 Internet Studios on Instagram, JMY5.com. We got Blood of the Brave. Blood of the Brave on Instagram, Blood of the Brave on Twitter, Blood of the Brave on Facebook. He's our musical artist, anarchist rapper. Check him out. Straight fire. Fuck the man.
And you might want to check out Chain Breakers Ministry.
Yeah. If you want to check him out, it's Chainbreakers Ministry. He's the top one on the search results right now because of our diligent work with Marfugal. Check out Chainbreakers Ministry on YouTube. Chainbreakers Ministry podcast, anywhere podcasts are found, and cbm.chainbreakersministry@gmail.com. Also, shout out Marfugal for shouting us out on his show last week, along with Chainbreakers Ministry. Marfugal on YouTube is either Marfugal News or Marfugal TV. Check him out. Let him know the Bonesandtubs tribe sent you.
Yeah. We'd like to thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
We guys. I can't say the G word.
We guys.
We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We hope you guys stay safe this week, and we hope that you guys tune in next time.
Shoot us some money. We'll do a 12-part series on our current job, and we will do live videos of us higher than draft pussy on edibles. We love you.
We really do.
Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. The cops are the world's most dangerous gang. Most dangerous gang who will put you in chains. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. You can lie if you want to see me. I don't need, all I need is all I have. And for that I will bleed. For those who'll take the stand, not the one in the box. Fuck the judge in this system backed up by the cops. Dirty ass henchmen pitching pennies out of pockets. If you question them at all, I pull out the rocket. Reaching in the trigger fingers been on the ready. That's why the people are shaking, cause they know that they're deadly. To get promoted, to do what they need. That's why they're locked and loaded, it will put you on your knees. Nah, it don't matter your age, race, or creed. We're all considered the enemy, cause we wanna be free. It's open season and the reason ain't new. It's old as the ways that control me and you. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Here's a list you piss, probably not, you ain't read it. Just wait until they cuff your wrist, I bet then you'll see it. Live in your face, tell me how that makes taste like shit. When they mix in that taser from the waist, they pack it to pull it, and they got 'em to use 'em, and you paid for it. All the new tanks and guns, new toys everywhere. They're like kids at Christmas, running downstairs with your name on the hit list. Boom. They unwrapped the box and left shells at your door. Then they broke the locks. From up top they'll strike and got you in sights. That sniper's a bitch, it will take away your life. They shoot when they want, just cowards with power. And no different than the ones who took the Jews off the showers. Oh yeah, I said it. Fuck their excuses, they're clueless and useless, and way beyond ruthless. Just jackboot thugs who get paid to obey orders to kill you or put you in a cage. If you don't think it, just do what you're told. Your conscience is dead, you don't have a soul. That's why it's easy for them to murder, rob and steal, cause they're already dead, nah, they can't feel. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Brat, brat, I back 'em down with the sound. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. The cops are the world's most dangerous gang. Most dangerous gang who will put you in chains. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim. The cops are the world's most dangerous gang. Most dangerous gang who will put you in chains. Fuck the blue line and everything they claim.